All right, we are back with Kerilyn a couple weeks after our initial session. Welcome.
Welcome.
And I just wanted to check in with you and see where you've been with the whole feeling like too much thing since I saw you last. I think we did a Belief Blasters round and a Click Track round on that sense of feeling like you're too much, believing that people think you're too much, things of that realm. And what's been going on since then?
Well, a lot.
Oh, good or bad?
Good. Everything good. I really believe in this work, and not just in my own life, but in my own practice and my own work with my own clients. And so I really do believe the subconscious mind is the ticket into our own healing. So this work is important. And is it comfortable? No, it's not comfortable. So part of the work is to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Right.
Most people, if we can just get to that point, then we would really be a win-win. This is not comfortable. So in no way do I, will I say it's been comfortable. When you say good or bad, it's good because the discomfort is actually good. So we talked about being too much. I love the Belief Blaster more than the Click Track.
A lot of people do.
You're holding on to that belief like so hard that it sort of becomes like funny to see how like it's like seriously not true. And so then that has taken me through this week or weeks. Because I remember how hard I was trying to hold that belief, and really just how silly it is that I've been holding on to it for this long.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is just a belief. And then our lives are, because we're powerful as fuck, our lives then manifest out of the beliefs that we hold.
Yeah.
And the energy that we carry. So if I'm holding on to a belief that I'm too much, like that's literally what I'm getting. So, you think that this work doesn't work. Well, look at your life and see where things aren't working. And then you'll know where you've been holding some pretty stinky beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even derivative of your circumstances. It's really derivative of your beliefs.
Right.
And if you're watching or listening to this podcast, you are already on this train. So hopefully we don't have to explain that it's not about your education or it's not about that. It's about your beliefs and about your willingness to hold on to it or let it go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I had already been doing the work on too much pretty diligently. And I think after our call, it really created a tipping point where, in line with the work I was doing on my own, and this, it became like enough already, like enough. And so, like 2 days ago, I believe, I sort of had a declaration, and the one thing that I had been too afraid to do was promote myself around money. And I just said, fuck it. I'm letting go of this belief. I know what it surrounds itself around. It surrounds itself around fear of abandoning my sister. And I have to let that go. So if I am successful, then I will have abandoned my sister's the belief that no, it doesn't carry. So yeah.
Where did that belief come from?
Well, I think the collective always, as well as, the collective belief around family, like the guilt around family. I am feeling driven as hell to really focus on our beliefs around family as a way of pushing past them, because I read a long time ago from this amazing medium. Her name's Sylvia Brown. She said, you can't love someone who's lovable and you can't respect someone who's respectable. And she said, and most of those times, those people are your family. And really, we have this old paradigm belief of like, honor your mother and father. You can't honor someone who's not honorable. And and you go to the higher levels and you see that everything is a projection of what of yourself. So then you get to do that work and heal yourself.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
So
love all this work.
you were able to kind of put yourself out there as a practitioner now and start kind of saying, hey, I'm ready to take clients. I'm ready to start earning a living doing
Yeah.
what I'm good at doing.
Yeah. And, it's funny because like sort of a side note is I've had a really challenging time with the quote unquote coaching industry because of one element of it, which is the whole selfie world. I have a really challenging time around the selfie world. Everybody, like, I think that's what has delayed my coming out is, do I have to do selfies in order to like really whatever? And I've been really challenged by that. Like, it feels not congruent. And so part of what's happened since our work is, how can I make, so selfies are currently a tool that a lot of people use to convey their energy in a photo. I'm still not quite there with regards to it not being manipulative and no different than like a beauty magazine. But how can I take this tool and make it work for me? Like, I feel like I'm an artist, so I don't have to do it their way. And so that sort of has also been on the outcome of our last call is, how can I make this work for me so that I don't feel like it's too much and I don't feel like I'm being authentic, but it has been holding me back. That sort of has come out of this too.
Yeah. And I think for you, the whole selfie thing, it's more that to you, they feel like they're misrepresenting where they really are. It's almost like you feel like they're putting up a false front and putting this happy face on Facebook when really they
Like
might
this.
be suffering or struggling with their own stuff, but not sharing that. So you're only, just like with everything else on Facebook,
Yeah.
you're only
Like this.
seeing what
Like,
people want to put forward.
is this real? Like that. It really challenges me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't think it's really the selfie that's bothering you. It's like, is this person really walking their talk? Are they really living what they're putting out there and representing? And to me, where I see that whole thing playing out a lot is with business coaches.
Yeah.
Not so much with like people who are, other kinds of coaches for regular individuals, but it's almost like the coaches of coaches that, the people who are trying to teach you how to market yourselves are the biggest perpetrators of what you're talking about, where they'll like take pictures around this big luxurious like yacht or car or whatever and like act like, I'm so rich and I'm so happy and my life is amazing, and if you do the things that I'm going to teach you how to do and give me this huge chunk of money, then you can live this lifestyle too.
I mean, it's to some degree no different than, it's no different than this. This is a magazine to promote products that I love. But like, the part that really gets me, and I don't know how much you want to talk about this, but is, and this is a judgment. This is a judgment or a belief, but in my experience, I would consider myself beautiful. So I've never had a problem being in front of a camera. I think I'm beautiful. I probably need to lose some weight, but I feel like I have a beautiful face. I don't have a problem being in front of a camera. I only really see beautiful people in selfies. I don't see many and I'm doing air quotes for podcast purposes, but I don't see many like unattractive people doing the same thing. So it feels a little alluring and misleading, like just like cosmopolitan, and I don't know, like I want to see more all across the board people doing selfies, then it would feel more normalized.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I only see like the beautiful people doing posts, like selfies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if that is what you see too, but I only.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, that does tend to be the case. And really, I think that's a huge societal thing, because typically the people who have been told again and again that they are beautiful and attractive are more confident in putting out their image than someone who has not been getting that affirmation their whole lives, and maybe have been bullied or picked apart or, you know, attacked by the mean girls or whatever, and so feel way less secure in sharing themselves and putting their images out there, because there's a feeling of, if they do, they might get attacked. People might say, oh, you're not attractive enough to do that, or
And to go
whatever.
back to the too muchness of it all, you know, because I consider myself beautiful, and because I am confident in my looks, it's the belief is just reinforced that I'm just too much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just too much. You're too out there. You're like who, like you're pompous and selfish and self-centered, that you want to just put yourself on the face of the thing. And so that's definitely creates. So since our call, and I have been working on that myself, it's really, it's a tool. So how can I make it work for me?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I, you know, because I like art and art history, I like the kind of art, the ready-made art. So like doing some sort of art installation as a selfie, not necessarily like a false, you know, the coffee cup picture, but really using this as a way of like making art. Like, and I think I'm going to be doing that more. But I really, the selfie thing is definitely challenging me, and it really is pushing up against my too muchness. So I've got to either beat them or join them. And so how do I join them and still feel in my soul like I'm not like just doing something for approval, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
So
do you feel like, to some extent, all of the self-promotion and selfie stuff has been an instance, like an example of someone else being too much, and because that was never okay for you, that's what was triggering about it? You feel like that's the trigger there, or is it something else?
that's a great question. I don't know if I have an answer. Okay, I think I know where this stems from. Is I grew up a rich kid, again, quote unquote, for podcast purposes. I grew up a rich kid, and most people just saw me having here's where it comes from. They just saw me having nice things. And, you know, like, oh, must be nice. The must be nice.
Mm.
And I would tell people, like, listen, it's not what you think it is. There's something wrong here. I'm completely being controlled by my father. And I tried to like say that, but they still just saw the things. That's where this stems from, behind the scenes. And so part of what has made me the seeker and the teacher that I am is because of that experience, because it has been burning in my soul to show the real thing, not being swayed by the 3-car garage and the whatever, the built-in basketball court, whatever. That is what drives this. That is what is triggering me, is this whole look deeper is really what the message is look deeper. So that's where this originally comes from. I'm grateful for it because it has given me drive and momentum. And I feel, again, I'm at that tipping point where I can see that this selfie thing is not going away anytime soon. I just saw someone promoting a selfie course. Well, what? I was almost tempted to like click on the link to see what all of the details are, but I was like, no. But that was me slapping my own hand for podcast purposes. But yeah, I really finding a way to make this work for me. And maybe I believe I need to probably do a click track on this, and as well as a belief blasters, because there's definitely something triggery there around
Mm-hmm.
this.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, I think it's the whole false front thing. It's that here's what you see, and then here's everything that's hiding underneath or behind that. And it's, it's triggering for you if, especially if you've kind of lived through that, where here's what people saw about you, and here's all the stuff that was going on underneath that. So you would absolutely be bothered by other people, putting up this false front when you just really wanted people to see what was true for you, not just that facade that everyone automatically saw and perceived and took
And
in.
it works. It works. Going back to the business coaches, like, I know 2 of them that come to mind that are making millions of dollars off of that, drawing them in with this picture perfect life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm determined to change that in my own way. And there's another coach, I really love her vibe, and she takes selfies in the moment. She told me she takes selfies in the moment, like, to convey the moment energy, the energy in the moment. And actually, because she told me that, I could see that she's doing that. There's not a whole lot of setup. There's not I could see that she takes a selfie. She's actually beautiful, so there's that.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell she's confident in front of the camera, but I can tell that she's taking a picture like in the moment, not like taking a whole bunch of pictures and then posting them later. That has helped me, but I still have so it really, like I said, at the end of the day, it's about how can I use this as a tool to do like the antithesis of what it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's like a chick in Australia, Celeste Barber, I think her name is, and she takes all the pictures of supermodels and recreates them in her own funny way. That's how
I've seen her. Yeah.
yeah, that's sort of what I feel like I'm headed to do.
Well, that'll be fun.
I might be crucified, but I don't care. Because we've got mental health right now, for you, for me, for all the teachers, is very important. And we have got to stop showing all the hearts and the flowers.
Yeah. And I think, a big piece of your message is it's okay to be messy.
Yeah. And
It's
actually, I'm so
okay
glad you said that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that. Like, seriously, like 2 seconds before you just said that, I had like an intuitive hit that I'm going to take a selfie with a big ketchup stain right here. Watch me. A big ketchup stain, and I'm going to be like this, because it has to be the opposite.
Yeah.
I am going to do the opposite.
So here's something that I have that's kind of interrelated to what you're talking about. So my wife and I decided we were going to watch this show on Netflix, Dairy Girls. Now, there's a girl on this show, and now these are people in Derry, I don't know, somewhere in the UK, Ireland, something, and they are kind of extreme, and they're overactors. And one of the girls pulls faces with like every word she says. She like gets way into it, and she'll start making all these ugly faces while she's talking. And there's something about her that was super triggering for me. Like, I was just like, I can't stand to look at her face while she's talking like that, because she's like making really all these ugly faces while she's expressing her emotions about whatever it is that she's overreacting to. And later my wife was like, hey, do you want to keep watching that show? And I was like, I'm going to have to PS Tech it. If we're going to keep watching the show, I'm going to have to like figure out, like, why is she triggering me? And what is that? And so I did kind of like sit back, and we still haven't, I think she's continued watching it without me. We haven't watched it together anymore, but I sat back and thought a little bit about what is it that bothers me so much about her. And it's that I consistently received the message that it wasn't okay to be ugly. That my mom would be like, don't stand like that, stand with your back straight, or, don't make that face, don't do this, you have to, if you've got it, flaunt it. And show, her example was always, you had to be really slim and you always had to look your best. And so there was this consistent message, both societally, from my mom, from my dad, that it wasn't okay to be ugly. And so for her to just put herself out there and make all these like ugly, nasty faces while she's talking and not care at all that it makes her look hideous. Just like, ah. So, and I actually haven't done it yet, but it's on the list, to both click track the emotion of that, as well as just the belief that it's not okay. I had the belief it wasn't okay to be ugly. So, and I think that's one that all of us across the board need in this culture, because we really do believe that it's not okay to be ugly. And so what if you are a person that this culture would define as ugly, or you do something and people notice that it's ugly, and then all hell breaks loose?
Yeah, and I love that. I love that. That's why I love, despite, I don't know too much about her controversial whatever about her, because I know there is some, but that's what I love about, I'm not even going to say her name right, Lina Latham, I think her name is. She's a celebrity. She was on Girls, that show Girls.
Yeah. Yep. I know
Lina,
who you're talking about.
Lina,
Lina Dunham.
Dunham. Sorry, I knew that I wasn't going to get it right. Anyway, she sort of does that. You see her Instagram feed, and she does the antithesis of, she like almost goes out for the ugly shots to sort of be like giving the middle finger to, I don't have to be pretty all the time. And I sort of love that about her. Again, I don't know her stance on controversy, because I know there's been some, but like when you see her pictures, you're like, yeah, she is not going to be conformed. And she's like a superstar producer and everything. She's a badass, but she's not going to be put in a box around you only successful if you're pretty.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she's not beautiful. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying quote unquote pretty. So
yeah.
I love people that are sort of doing that. I would challenge you to be like, reach out to her, that actress, and share your experience and thank her, because gratitude is almost is a really quick way to shift a belief around too. Like, be grateful to the person who's triggering you, to their face almost. I do that with my ex-husband all the time, So I don't know. I love this topic. And
well, I definitely see every trigger as an opportunity to be one step closer to trigger free. Like, that's kind of how I work life. It's just like, anytime something's bothering me, of course I don't like it in that second that it's bothering me, but then once I can kind of look at it, I'm like, that's good. It's good, because it gets me like one step closer to just constant peace.
Yeah, and I wonder, like, so do you think it's possible to live life trigger free? Trigger free.
Getting closer every day.
Yeah, I definitely love that question.
It gets, I think that we always have some level of work to do. But I will say, I was a person who used to be triggered 10, 20 times a day over various things. Now I'm triggered 10, 20 times a year.
Oh, wow.
And then I just kind of, the rest of the time, I'm just kind of doing my thing, just being.
Wow.
Not
it's amazing.
On a super high, not on a low, not freaking out. Just most of the time, I'm just being. And then once in a while, something comes up and I'm like, oh, something's bothering me. This is strange. Haven't had this in a while. And then do the work, figure it out. And then I'm free for a while longer. And then something else will come up and I'll do the work on that. So I don't know if it's 100% possible to be completely trigger free. Like, maybe when I'm 80 years old, I won't have any triggers left. I don't know. But they are getting further and fewer in between, for sure.
And I ask because I teach the philosophy of there's the 0 to 5,000 foot level of experience, and then there's the higher level, the collective level, the higher self level, the bigger picture of it all, the universal reason of it all. And like, we work ourselves to do the 0 to 5,000 foot trigger removal, but like at some point, man, my phone dies so quickly. At some point we've got to like look at the collective triggers, like
Mm-hmm.
the countries and the talk around the earth, and like the collective higher level triggers. So I love that Abraham, Hicks always says there is no there. We're never going to get there. I'd like to believe that maybe one day we will, and then time will no longer exist as a Course in Miracles student, but I don't really see that happening anytime soon. But yeah, the job is to get to the more higher level triggers, the collective triggers.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that stuff. I think that's where we are right now, in this tipping point where we're elevating to a more higher collective level, and then looking at those triggers.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I really feel like the more we clear in ourselves, the more we clear for everyone and everything collectively. So
True.
we're sort of energetically holding space for other people to be able to clear their stuff when we've done the work ourselves to clear something.
Yeah. I love
Where
it.
if we stay in our triggers or continue to either overexpress them or suppress them, we still energetically hold them in our fields. So we
Yeah.
are holding space for more of that to be happening around us.
Love it.
But the more we clear of ourselves, the more we're holding space for other people to find that level of peace too.
Yeah. I'm with you. I totally agree. Yeah. It makes complete sense to me. So
Yeah.
yes, good times. I love this work, and I'm grateful to you for being someone who's taught me about it and pushes me to continue on my quest, and as a fellow teacher to collaborate with, and really just in order for all of us to do our real jobs, which is to help heal this world.
Mm,
That's the job.
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm grateful every day.
Me too.
Yeah, I know you are. So amen to that. But
Mm.
thank you for allowing me to share. And
Thank you for coming back on. I
yeah,
appreciate you coming to share your update, that you've been more comfortable with putting yourself out there and letting go of that fear that you're too much, so that you can open yourself up to sharing your message with your tribe, and
yeah,
being able to have clients that can see that, who are okay with the messiness, or who are ready to embrace that and be okay with their own mess, because you have not been afraid to share your mess. And it's inspiring. So that's wonderful that this is able to take you a step further in that, to be able to embrace that even more for yourself, and then, like we were talking about, collectively for other people.
yeah. And to final wrap up for anyone who's like, just PS Tech works. So you don't have to
Yeah.
understand it. You don't have to understand it for it to work. You
Yes.
can literally be thinking, I remember you telling me one time that you said it's okay if you don't believe this, like, and just keep, like, do a click track on I don't believe this, and you don't have to believe this or understand how it works to really experience it
Right.
working.
Yeah. Yeah. I often have, different parts of this that people either don't like the click track, or, they don't like his voice, or they don't like it's constantly coming at them, or they don't think it's possible for it to work this quickly, or, anything. And you can actually use the click track to undo any of those things, so that you're okay with following through and using the click track. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter whether you believe it's going to work or not. And of course, if you have a deep subconscious belief that nothing can fix you, then we would probably need to address that with belief blasters first, to kind of get rid of that belief. Because if you're carrying that belief, you're going to continue creating that reality in whatever form you possibly can. So getting rid of beliefs that I'm broken, nothing can fix me, I'm stuck like this, are really good beliefs to get rid of so that you can continue to do the work and actually see things begin to shift.
Yep. I love it. I agree. Good times.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kerilyn. I
Yeah,
appreciate your time and energy and sharing your story.
no problem. Anytime. And I look forward to hearing this on podcast.
Awesome. And I'd love to, at some point, have you back on to talk about sex. I think that we could have
Yes.
a really interesting discussion about sex, sacred sexuality, and just as a teaser for whenever that happens, the topic that was coming to mind for me before we even got on the call is this whole thing about like people being able to have like hours and hours and hours of orgasm. So I want to talk about that with you because from
Ooh,
what
I
I've
can't wait. Can I give
seen,
you a teaser?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, so I don't know. So are we okay with some of this? So everybody listening, we're going to start talking about sex and orgasm. So brace yourself.
yep.
Um, so I never had a vaginal orgasm before last year, and I'm 44 right now.
Holy crap.
Really never had one. And a lot of women have never had an orgasm in general. So anyway, I think this is part of my awakening. And so I had one last year, and then I discovered that I am multi-orgasmic. So you're talking about having an orgasm over and over and over again. I found that they were rolling. They're rolling like over and over and over again.
Mm.
So now I have a partner, and we are really, we both like that. It's more like to see like how long can we compress the time, like contractions. Can we compress the time so that it's actually continual? And the answer is yes. And there's interesting like aftershocks that happen now. I love to talk about this because, and I'm doing this more as a student. Yes, I'm receiving the benefit, but I feel like part of my awakening and doing this work is helped by having these orgasms, because there's a tool inside of our bodies that taps us into like the higher level, like the connection to the universe.
Yeah.
I call it the God. I think orgasm is the God button, whatever word works for you, but I call it the God button. And we have got to learn how to use it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be quite a manifesting tool. So yeah, I think that we could do a whole episode
I'm
talking about
in.
that stuff for sure. Yeah.
I'm in. So
Okay.
yay. Yeah,
Good.
let's do it. All
Yeah.
right. So
Future
until
fun.
next time.
Awesome. All right. Thank
All
you,
right, we'll talk
Kerilyn.
to you soon. All right, bye, hon.